Hello, everybody. One moment. Hi. It's time for more Final Fantasy XIV today, but first up, there's something I want to explain. There's been an entire thing going, an entire plot line going on at the World Cup. Let me just look it up. Copy image. So, please tell me it. Yay, it doesn't crash it this time. Look, someone at the... Someone said, Japan versus Brazil in the World Cup. Whoever wins keeps Hatsune Miku. Sure, that's all good. That's all fun for a laugh. Except, Brazil won. So, that meant Hatsune Miku temporarily went into custody of... So yeah, Japan versus Brazil. Whoever won would get custody over Hatsune Miku. So, Brazil wins. Then we go to the round of 16. Where we have Brazil versus Norway. I didn't actually just pull up the bracket here because I need to actually keep track of how it is. Knockout phase. Brazil beats Japan 2-1. So then we go to the round of 16 where it's Brazil versus Norway. Let me actually just copy this, and why did I go into there? And then we have Norway wins 1-2. So now here comes the shenanigans. This is where it is right now. We have Norway versus England coming up tomorrow. (11:07:26) at what time? Yeah, at 9 o'clock UTC. Speaking of which, I should also check what. Wait, there is a live. Oh. Spain-Belgium is already going on. I'll see the result after stream. Look. Spain versus Belgium is currently going on. Just select this and move it down here. Here's where the paths can diverge. Versus look, there's also Argentina versus Switzerland tomorrow at this is going to be interesting. Anyway, let's get started, shall we? Let me just go back to my chatting scene. Yeah. And Final Fantasy XIV. Currently, Norway has custody over Hatsune Miku. According to those rules. So yes, it's Viking time. And we're waiting for the game to launch. There it is. Speaking of which, where's my chat from StreamerBot? Because I haven't... YouTube, if you've been chatting, I haven't seen you guys yet. Go out here, grab my window and... Options, system config, audio, BGM on. And... well, will you catch... Quit out of NVIDIA broadcast. I don't want that. Connecting to the Chaos Data Center. Yeah, I was in the... I was in the mist. Just, you know, vibing. Players in queue, 13. But it should honestly go ahead and... There we go, fixed. That way the browser won't show up again. Of course, Morhuna is just... Okay, Gold Saucer VIP card. Uh-oh. Yeah, that was... yeah, if it looked like something froze, everything froze. I don't know why it did that. And frankly, I am too scared to find out. So Labyrinthos. Wait, I need to check. What's the faster route? Northern Empty, Labyrinthos. It's about even. Charlie and Hamlet time. Speaking, by the way, I have microphones. I don't know why, but this song is hype. Go, Midgard Soma. The song of higher, oh higher. Go, my dragon. I am making my way downtown at speeds not yet known. Actually, at frankly normal speeds. Skainris. This song, it hits hard. What serendipitous irony that the remnants of the seventh umbral calamity would become the keys to mankind's salvation. Never more certain have I been that Master Louis watches over us from the ethereal sea. Considering how much of a fuss he made at the time, I don't see why he takes every opportunity to bring it up. It was just firewood. I'm confident that even the deadliest Allagan defense mechanisms are no match for our allies. At this rate, some of them might soon have as many accomplishments to their names as a certain warrior of light. Hey, you're stolen. Don't need to rub it in. Graha. Time and time again, it seems that Allagan or something or other are either the cause or the solution to our problems. To think the self-same materials that once launched Dalamud will now be used to help ferry mankind to the moon. That's a poetry in that. I'm gonna copy this one. Thancred. First the Telophoroi, and now the final days. No one can accuse the Ilsevod contingent of backing down from a challenge. Of course, they weren't also committed to the cause when we first set out. But after the example set by you, Alphino and the others, the change was palpable. They couldn't help but believe. Well, I'm all for relying on the power of friendship, but we're now left with the rare luxury of having nothing to do. There must be something that requires our attention. Appreciate you doing all this, but I ain't getting my hopes up just yet. No job too small. Alphino is resisting the urge to pat himself on the back. Though our friends are searching for the refined adamantite and the sacred relics, we will only know if they meet your requirements once they have arrived. In the meantime, is there aught else we might do to be of service? You've already done more than enough. I have to say, though, I could use someone who knows a thing or two about Allagon technology. You there, the lad with the red eyes and matching hair. You seem to know more than the average scholar. If only Master Kukul knew how right he was. While he and Graha establish a rapport, why don't we help with the preparations for the Great Exodus? Indeed, this would mean going above and beyond the terms of our agreement. But I propose this not to curry favor. As confident as I am that we will succeed, we must be ready for every eventuality. This would also be an opportunity to familiarize ourselves with the logistics of traversing the Great Expanse. And if nothing else, it beats twiddling our thumbs while we wait for the adamantite. Well, ain't you a bunch of helpful buggers? If you got a mind to lend a hand, I know where you ought to go. Charlie and Hamlet is lousy with researchers and scholarly types, busying themselves preparing for the Exodus. Ha! That lot need all the help they can get. Well then, off we go. Raha? I shall endeavor to provide Master Kokol with whatever information he should require. Kokol, there we go. I'll admit, without a refined adamantite, I ain't got a bloody clue how to... Piss off, you mosquito. Get the ether burner performing any better. If you lot don't come up with the goods, we're buggered. To the Charlie and Hamlet. Okay, that's about what I expected. Boom, bum, 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 bum. Jump. Look at that, everyone is here. In order to protect the secrets of the Central Circuit, the researchers must navigate a bewildering maze of paperwork before they are permitted to return to the surface. I suppose it's no different from any other aspect of Sharlayan society. We do love our bureaucracy. It's very much a mirror of the city above, which is perhaps how it came to be called Sharlayan Hamlet. What a quaint little settlement this is. A shame it's hidden underground. I don't mind a bit of heavy lifting, but I draw the line at paperwork. So much as wave a sheaf of documents at me and I'll put my lance through it. As surprised as I was to learn the Forum plan to send everyone to the moon. I can't imagine how the common folk must feel about it. Do my senses deceive me in the shadow of yon corner? One can but hope this leadeth not to mischievous undertakings. From what I can tell, a lot of people actually live down here. I don't know how much help we can offer, but I dare say they'll benefit from that fresh inspiration Scholar Wantishin mentioned. Let's start by asking around, ideally without getting in anyone's way. Let's meet by the Aetheryte once our work is done. Oh, a blue. I see a blue quest. The blue quest unlocked. A vexed veterinarian. Let me just skip through this because I can reread that later. I'm just tagging it so I can do it off stream. That way the MSQ one will actually automatically unlock flight. Silken Grin. Oh, that's a Rugadin name. Yep. Hello? Are you one of the new helpers? Still working on the ether burner. Oh dear, I hear things have come to a standstill on that front. Even so, I'd choose that over my current duties. Checking and loading samples day in and day out. It's tiring, thankless work. Still, no one will be cross if I misplace a few legumes or what have you. The Forum's got enough on their plate as it is. What with people deciding who gets to board the Ark and when? A lot of powerful people have opinions about that. My heart goes out to Master Fortuno and the others. Hardly get a moment's rest, I expect. Do they even have time to sleep? One must always be learning, even during periods of rest. Steady current, another Rugadin. Helping with the Ark. Even after all that power Master Corcoles managed to squeeze out of the ether burner, it's still not enough apparently. And now here the final days have arrived. Horrible creatures running rampant all over. If only we'd begun the exodus sooner. People are dying and there'll be no end to it if we don't fulfill our duties. But we will. We've spent years preparing for this moment. Believe in a plan and all will be well. Oh, plan. Potisan. That's an Ellison. Offering to help. Offering to help? That's very kind, but I should be able to organize the rest of the documents by myself. It's mostly lists of the things we'll need once we arrive on the moon, and then whichever star we choose is our new home. My duties largely concern the maintenance of living conditions, so I'll be a lot busier after we depart. I hear that our lunar collaborators have come down to assist in our efforts. I'm looking forward to finally meeting them in person, after having communicated with them in such a limited capacity thus far. To be perfectly honest, I have not even the slightest idea what they look like. I do hope they're not enormous looming giants. Why? I would much rather prefer something small and fluffy like that behatted rabbit that ran by. Oh, they don't yet know! Wait, there are the Loporits! I'm first going to have a look around the hamlet, see if I can find the others. Shall no run, no. Okay, I think it's... I can just spot... Do you have any digestives? Did I just see that right? Yep, digestives. No, I don't think they have graham crackers. Singing way, cooking way, growing way, living way, and Urianje. What a joy to sample the delights of Epirus. How marvelous it is to see you again. I'm pleased to hear I've learned much since our fascinating discussion at the Caratorium. It's all thanks to Urianje, you see. He's taught me the finer points of cooking, which despite my name, I knew very little about. So many dishes, so many hard-to-pronounce words. Actually, I was rather hoping he'd show me how to bake an Archon loaf. They're quite popular, I hear. Though it doesn't sound like it contains any flavor to speak of. Still, if it's the sort of thing your kind enjoys, I shall make enough to last the whole journey. No way. King. I wasn't expecting to see you here, Kanazi. Sorry I didn't have a chance to say goodbye. And for having those other operates attack you. Terrible misunderstanding, that. Not to worry though, as all have since recovered from their rather savage beating you administered. So bear you no ill will. Well, perhaps a little on account of the savagery, but time heals all wounds. Most anyway. Oh yeah, that was the voice I had. That was for Growing Way. Fancy meeting you here, Kanazi. Our friends from the forum brought us to see their teeny tiny toy boat. Which was quite impressive considering they didn't use any creation magics. We're really interested in the Zephyrus itself, though we now find ourselves in a sort of funny underground miniaturized version of it. Oh. We were rather hoping the forum would give us a guided tour, but it appears they're rather preoccupied. Honestly, all the time to prepare and they're still not ready. Suppose we'll just have to show ourselves around. Or at least that's what we were planning to do until we chanced upon Urianje and your good self. Since you're both dawdling about, engaging in idle chit-chat, perhaps you could show us a few points of interest. Wouldn't that be fun? I'm in the Dauntra level range already. Wise guides. Hold up, I need to go ahead and do this. Ophiotaro skin. Top of scouting. Nope. I'll hold off on that one. For if I hit the goal on the... If I hit the goal on that. On the fundraiser for Gamers Outreach. If that fundraiser is still even active, yes it is. The goal is not actually 100, that's just the lowest it'll go. I have it set at 50. Wise guides, try as he might, Urianje cannot free himself of the operates. A tour of Labyrinthos. An unexpected yet prudent suggestion. Given the similarities betwixt this artificial environment and Bestway's burrow, it would be in our best interests to have the Loperates acquaint themselves with those conditions deemed optimal by their Charlian collaborators. I fear, however, that continued reliance upon my limited knowledge would risk narrowing rather than broadening their perspectives. Mayhap thou art better suited to lead this venture. What a marvelous idea! Why don't we begin with a great big what's-it over yonder? Ah yes, the what's-it. I shall leave its explanation to Kanazi. What's it? What's it? My word, what magnificent architecture! Such immaculate curvature! I'll have to make several adjustments to my work if I'm to match this degree of craftsmanship. I shall leave no corner unrounded. Considering Singing Way and Growing Way specialties, I expect them to pay full attention to your explanations, which I am sure will be most informative. This is all very intriguing, I'm sure, but where are the food preparation stations? What's the word for it? Kitchens. That reminds me, Pudding Way, our newly appointed chief of pudding research, a discipline he himself founded after sampling Uriange's delights, has gone in search of Ephirus' ultimate sweet treat. Well, provided it's a pudding. That's all he ever talks about these days. Have you seen him? The Loperits' technical expertise doth far outstrip our own. We would be wise to allow them to form their own conclusions as to the function of the various apparatus, rather than offering our uninformed suppositions of our own. Unless it is, that is, unbeknownst to me, thou art possessed of surpassing knowledge concerning the construction of an operation of advanced Charlium, what's-its. Goodness me! You built something so large without creation magic, it's positively stupendous! Perhaps you could direct attention to its most important features? Search the apparatus for points of potential interest. You may move the camera as well as zoom in and out. Target an area and inspect it with left click. That looks like the trees in Greatest Endsvale. Hold on. That's a bit of a strange shape. It's thin at the bottom, but big and round at the top. Quite tall for something so unbalanced, too. Now it makes sense. That's where they store the water. Yeah, that makes the most sense. It's a little hard to see from here, but is that a golden pipe connected on top of those tanks? I can see through that window another pipe at the bottom. This must be purifying water drawn up from below. Exactly. Is that water out here from inside that great big tube? Must be because of those clogs and that gigantic wheel at the top. Oh, I see. That's how they draw up the water. That's probably some sort of spiral-shaped mechanism inside it, too. An Archimedes screw. Yeah. If I were to hazard a guess, water drawn from underground, presumably with some other mechanism, is purified here and stored in that tower before being distributed elsewhere. I'm right, aren't I? I knew it. The design brilliant in its simplicity. I dare say it would only take a moment to install it even in the harshest of environments. For us Loperits, that is. Indeed, securing a reliable source of water is of the utmost importance for any fledgling settlement. We have read, however, that peoples of Ephirus sometimes make their homes in arid deserts and such. How are they able to survive? Many settlements in Fanaland are built near an oasis. So wherever you choose to live, you're never far from water. Oh dear. I worry we won't be able to procure the necessary amount. We can provide enough water to keep them from drying out completely, but it would appear they rely on it far more than we'd anticipated. A few adjustments may be in order, but once we've calculated the average rate of consumption per individual, it may also be worth learning more about how exactly they obtained their water in the first place. Master Alphino spoke of the machinery responsible for that feat during our journey through Logisticon Alpha, did he not? Mayhap the Loporits will share his appreciation for the engineering marvel. Yes, it sounds absolutely splendid. We must journey beyond the sanctuary of Charlene Hamlet. I shall lead the way. You mean we'll have to brave the untamed wilderness? Alright, that's growing way. A valid concern indeed. We couldn't help but notice the many dangerous-looking creatures with big, nasty teeth lurking beyond the safe confines of this settlement. Were we not escorted here by burly custodians? I dread to think what would have become of us. Regrettably, many a hungry predator of the aforementioned big nasty teeth. Regrettably, to many a hungry predator with the aforementioned big nasty teeth, Loporits may appear to be a potential and rather appetizing source of sustenance. But they impose upon thee to assist in securing safe passage to Logisticon Alpha. For my part, I shall act as escort to Living Way and Cooking Way. I entrust Singing Way and Growing Way to Die Care. A more valiant protector they could not wish for. Godspeed. If it's all the same to you, I'd rather not be eaten by some horrid beastie. Come along, Growing Way. To the water extraction, what's it? Coincidentally, this is... I can actually grab that quest, and I can actually do that quest in one fell swoop. Unfortunately, not in one fell cleave. Optional dialogue with Singing Way and Growing Way. Perhaps you could tell the local beasties were not nearly as delicious as we might appear. I have a feeling the way forward is not as clear as we'd like. Could you go and take a look? say, that fiend had a mind to feast on roasted loperet. Thank you so much. I really hope this water extraction what's its worth. These harrowing experiences. All part of the fun, some might say. But I'd rather not be burned to a crisp if that's all the same to you. And look, I can immediately just grab this one on the way in. Let's see. I couldn't help noticing a distinct lack of carrots along the way, or many of the other vegetables I was expecting to see. Though I did catch a glimpse of some other sort of bipedal tomato charging about. Must be my imagination. You've done well to see those two here safely. They can be a bit skittish at the best of times, so I'm pleasantly surprised they didn't run off and get themselves killed. Let's get moving. The building looks nice and solid and safe. That was all very exciting, but I'd rather not do it again. Wait, how exactly were we planning to head back later? My friends, I bid you welcome to Logisticon Alpha. Our destination doth lie at the lift's top. Pray follow me. Onwards. Vadaloison. You will need to use the lift should you wish to go to the medial circuit. Let me know when you're headed this way. You're headed that way. Of course. That was terrifying. But at least the scenery was more pleasant than what's named Garlemald. As a first impression of Epheris, it was far from favorable. Anyway, onwards and upwards, quite literally as is the case here. As I understand, all places like Labyrinthos are the exception rather than the rule. You don't all build enormous underground living spaces like this, surely? Marvelous! Simply marvelous! This is where the magic, or science rather, takes place. The perfect environment to sustain life, artificially created. The knowledge we'll gain here will be essential when we start looking for new stars for your kind to inhabit. Apparently most of them don't even have air for you to breathe. You're all very lucky that Epheris just so happens to provide everything you need to thrive. Or did mankind turn out the way they are because of the available resources, I wonder? Either way, it's nothing short of miraculous, and I cannot wait to see more of it. Dang it, I missed dialogue. Agriculture shock. Cookingway is eager for a change of venue, or at the very least a change of what's it. This is all very wonderful, I'm sure, but I was hoping to learn more about your nourishment provision facilities. In other words, where's the food? I believe both the knowledge and consumables you seek may be found at Mariel Ergonomics. As I imagine Singing Way and the others intend to study every conceivable facet of this apparatus, wouldst thou be so kind as to escort our visiting culinarian? Sounds much more interesting. Hopefully I'll be able to see firsthand some of the delicacies Urianja was telling me about. Even his incredibly vivid, if not a bit too verbose, descriptions cannot compare to sampling them myself. Not to mention Ephira's will soon be no more. So I must learn all I can while there is still time. Let us brook no further delay. This is the place, yes? The heady aroma was enough to guide me here, and I spotted several of the fruit and vegetables featured in our compendium. I dearly love to try some, but I read that those who help themselves to a farmer's crust without permission are often caught and put into pies. Perhaps you could ask whoever's in charge if they would be willing to part with a few samples. Deloise, Minogia. What a fine mess this is. Ah, it's you, the one who climbed down the mine shaft. I'd show you around if I could, but I'm rushed off my feet preparing for the Exodus. And I'm not the only one. We've all got to find ways to do what we do down here up there. First on the moon, then on whichever star the Forum decides will be our new home. It's all so sudden, so unreal. You don't want to go to the moon? Don't you want to go to the moon? Well, it's better than waiting for the final days to claim us. But no matter how carefully it's all planned, we'll never be able to take every variety of flora and fauna with us. Even the ones we can take may not survive in their new environment. So many species doomed to extinction. Sorry, that's not what you came to talk about, is it? Nothing quite so dire, I assure you. We merely wish to sample a little of your produce, if we may. By all means, help yourselves. Much appreciated, my good fellow. So, where to begin? Oh, they're not square anymore. I know what these are. Grapes, yes. Let's see, they're as delicious as they look. No. So sweet, so sour. Tasted much like a ripe philosopher's carrot. And yet the texture is so entirely different. The contrast between the outer skin and the fruit within is most peculiar, though far from unpleasant. Yes, I think I'll try another. Nope. Well, that's certainly giving me food for thought, though in a far less visceral manner than any philosopher's carrot. Right? But tell me, what is your opinion on grapes? I'd brave an erupting volcano for a choice bunch. Yes, they're rather Moorish, aren't they? And from what I read, quite versatile too. Something about people stepping on them to make intoxicating beverages, as I recall. Anyway, that's enough about grapes for the time being. On to the next treat. The Orange Grove. Oh, that's right behind it. Orange by name, orange by nature. What came first, the fruit or the color? Who cares? Let's eat. The color, actually. And oranges are not even aren't even naturally aren't even natural. Yeah, that's equal parts sweet and sour as with the grapes, yet nothing alike. I may have to consult Urianger about expanding our vocabulary. I simply cannot find the words to describe it. It is a cross. It's a citrus fruit. Technically, it's the hybrid Citrus extensis between the pomelo, Citrus maxima, and the mandarin orange, Citrus reticulata. Perhaps what I'm looking for is bitter. This is all very complicated, you know. So many flavors, so many choices, and each individual with their own personal preferences. Now I see why you all turned your noses up at the idea of eating nothing but carrots. Marvelous though they still are in my estimation, let no one say I said otherwise. But speaking of carrots, I've yet to sample any of the vegetables. Let's see what's in that field over there. No. Form has commanded us to leave this place. As you can imagine, now is not the time for me to be answering other questions, but if you insist. Pumpkin! Color. A texture. Are they some sort of enormous round carrots? Actually, they're called... No, in any case, the proper nomenclature is less of a concern than the taste. They are gourds. Blech, this is so hard and flavorless, I may as well be chewing a piece of wood. This all but confirms it. These are nothing more than misbegotten failures masquerading as goodly carrots. Stop! Can't you see these are pumpkins? And no one with any sense would try eating them raw. You're supposed to cook them first. Do you not find it an awful bother? Far from it. Cooking is a joy unto itself. And what's more, it broadens the range of ingredients that we may safely eat. But above all else, cooking allows us to draw out the full potential of our produce. Pumpkin stew has been one of my favorite dishes for as long as I can remember. And perhaps even these hard blocks of plant matter can become as delicious as the orange I sampled. I wonder though, if there's anything even more delicious, how about that yellow fruit over yonder? Uh-oh. Oh, oh, you're about to get lemoned. What a wondrous fragrance. With luck, it'll have a flavor to match. No idea how these are eaten, so I'll just bite into it. Yeah, my tongue, is this poison? No, this is a lemon, you dolt. A lemon? You're supposed to you mean it's supposed to taste like this? How can something so similar to an orange be so revolting? Maybe sometime before my palate recovers from this ordeal. As such, I had best call an end to this round of sampling. Let's say our farewells and return to the others. Finished, have you? I trust you found something to your liking. I'm rather enamored with the grapes and oranges. Let's out a pumpkin, though I learned the hard way they're not to be eaten raw. And then there was the lemon, the deceiver. I feel so violated. First time, was it? I'd hate for you to leave with a bad taste in your mouth, in more ways than one. So I'll give you this lemon muffin I baked. If this doesn't change your opinion, nothing will. More lemon, have I not suffered enough? Nevertheless, it would be remiss of me to spurn something to... bit of sick came up there. Learn more of your inscrutable ways. Very well, lemon muffin, do your worst. This is delicious. I still detect a hint of lemon and complements the sweetness of the dough to create a perfect harmony. I never would have guessed this vile bitterness could be utilized so elegantly. My good chap, this is simply breathtaking. No, you're breathtaking. See, we rarely use lemon in its natural state, but it has a restoring role in all sorts of recipes. And the same is true for many other ingredients. It comes down to making the most of the resources at our disposal. And sometimes even that can even be the difference between life and death. I know we won't be able to take every species with us. No doubt the forum agonize over what was worth preserving and what will be consigned to history. Hard choices, but make them we must if we're to survive. Such strength of will. Now I know what Heidelin sees in your kind. Huh? Mankind, the Loprits, we are both born from the accumulated knowledge of the ancients. They learned all there is to learn about the nature of sentient life and the fates of the stars themselves. Once a civilization fulfilled basic requirements for survival, it will inevitably seek to eliminate all forms of negativity and achieve perfection. And therein lies its folly and its downfall. For perfection is an unattainable ideal. It is the paradox of the immaculate carrot. Yet civilizations since time immemorial have deemed the pursuit of perfection as progress. They pay no heed to the costs incurred in their futile quests and all too often become the architects of their own demise. Their dreams forever unfulfilled. What then is the alternative? The answer lies in knowing that our existence can never be perfect. To be content with what we have and make the most of it. When life gives you lemons, make lemon muffins. No, you make life take the lemons back. You get mad. I don't want your damn lemons. What am I supposed to do with these? The man to see life's manager. Make life rue the day it thought it could give Cave Johnson lemons. Pardon my Eorzean, but what in the seven hells are you on about? Who are you anyway? Cooking way, at your service. I'm here to help prepare for the trip to the moon. And once you get there, you'll be able to try my carrots. I've been growing all different kinds. But don't worry, there'll be room for your crops too. We'll work together to preserve as many of Ephirius' species as possible. If you're up to the challenge. Yes, of course. I'll look forward to it. Oh, this has been highly productive. Probably. Let's go and see if Urianja and the others have run out of machinery to inspect, shall we? Speaking of which, this is a water wheel. There we go. Now I am going to sprint right in on Chocobo back. Now I'm gonna walk in. Nah, I'm just gonna walk in. And look at that, they're all lined up in the same order as before. Ryanje. By Cookingway's broad grin, I assume your excursion was a roaring success. There you are. Have you just finished talking about rainmaking what's-its yet? Where have you and Cookingway been? If the two of you were engaged in pursuits of educational nature, you should have taken me too. I am the leader after all. Not to rub it in, but we had the most fantastic time while you were away. Ryanja was able to obtain all manner of meteorological data for us to pore over. I'll be sure to put my newfound knowledge to good use once we return to the moon. It is my duty to make your journey as comfortable as possible. Though there's no telling how long it'll be. 100 years? 1,000? Probably... Probably close to 5,000, give or take. That was the most enlightening, especially the part with the lemon muffin. Actually, I was wondering, do you know any other places famed for their cuisine? Limsa is home to the Culinarians Guild and many less than savory establishments. Would that I had the time to visit. The more I learn of Ephirus, the more I wish we could spare it from the final days. Alas, Heinlein's orders are to flee, not to resist. If only there was some other way. There is. Muffins. I wonder if this how Puddingway felt the first time Ryanja made pudding. Though I am not sure what that actually was pudding, come to think of it. Something about it seemed a bit off. Sage Council. Ryanja appears to be telling the Loporits in preparation for an imminent departure. Kinesi, I trust thy time at Muriel Ergonomics did bear fruit. Our own efforts, too, were rewarded. We now possess an embarrassment of educational riches. No doubt our guests' relentless pursuit of knowledge could occupy them and us for a fortnight. Alas, time is of the essence. Let us return to Charlie and Hamlet forthwith. There we go. I shall gladly attend to each and every Loporit there. Should further questions within my power to answer arise. Aww. To the Charlie and Hamlet. One moment, I need to do something. In all the busyness, I forgot about my coffee. Lovely stuff. There we go. And toss it off to the side. Onwards. Speaking of which, I should also finish that side quest. Lovely stuff, that coffee. Look, he's returned. Oh no, there's nowhere in particular I was hoping to go. Simply wish to see, hear, feel, and think as much as I possibly can while we're here. What's not to look for? What did I say? You said the line. Hear, feel, think. Cooking way? Why did I not ask Jebka how to make carrot muffins? We could have had baked goods bursting with happiness. That was ever so delightful, and with as much information I could fine-tune the moon's environs for the people's comfort. For your people's comfort. It's surprisingly tricky to estimate the appropriate temperature settings for being so lacking in fur. No wonder it was so cold. The Loporits want for activities and stimulation, but I struggle to conceive of how to busy them whilst we wait. Please tell me this is voiced. What's wrong? Yes, Kinesi, that was indeed me verbalizing a sigh to express my emotional state. Do you want to know why? Because I saw the reconstructed environmental data for Ephyris at Logisticon Alpha, that's why. A forest so lovely and so leafy. Are all your forests like that? The Black Shroud, the 12's wood is quite... Look, my character is from Gridania, so I am going to change this line a little bit for flavor. The 12's wood is quite leafy indeed, and a place with utmost tranquility. I'm glad to call it home. Gasp! Gasp, I say! With a star so wonderful, it comes as no surprise that you're reluctant to leave it behind. I was a fool to think otherwise. To assume that the moon was something worth being proud of. How ridiculous we must seem to you! Trying so hard, yet achieving so little. Not at all. Thy works are no less worthy for their uniqueness. I thought I heard tiny voices. Fancred! There we go. How didst thou fare? Oh, I was able to glean a fair bit from the researchers while helping to move their cargo. Dang it, I skipped a line. Oh. No, never mind. It just skipped to the end of the line. No, it just filled in the line. Preparations have proceeded without interruption here, despite news of the coming end. With the forum's leadership to thank for that. That doesn't mean people aren't worried, though. Quite the opposite. Knowing disaster could strike at any moment, they hurried to complete their work, equally aware that a single error could be the difference between life and death. And we can hardly tell them there's no cause for concern. Perhaps not. Though aided by our goodly growing way, we may yet find other ways to lighten their burden. Me? Be of use to people? I'm honored that you would think me so capable, but I'm not sure that I'm up to the challenge. Nevertheless, I believe in thee. If you say so, I suppose it can't hurt to try. Oh, the boy has confidence issues! Perhaps someone moping in the Western Plaza that looked to be in need of a helping paw. Someone moping in the Western Plaza that looked to be in need of a helping paw. Perhaps you might start with him. Tis as good a place as any. Come. You best go with them. I don't think Urianje misjudged him, but Growingway does look like he could use some emotional support. I still have work to complete elsewhere. I trust I won't return to find any loprets in tears. Jump onto this bush, jump onto here, jump on there, and onwards. Hey. There's the gang. Oh, can I help you? Yeah, what's troubling you, man? My good man. It's you who would help me. It is you who would help me. Is my anxiety truly so obvious? A burden shared is a burden eased. Pray, tell us of thy troubles. Those little fellows do look like good listeners. I'm an engineer, you see. That's what they say of the ship. That is the sum of decades of Charlian ingenuity. And it was built with peerless Alagon technology. It's all true, but I know that none of that's a guarantee. I've never before launched a starfaring vessel, let alone flown it in the great expanse. All the tests we've run have been on the ground. Even only operational personnel and cargo will be aboard for the first voyage. But even so, if it fails us then, what can we do? And if it doesn't, it could fall apart on the next flight. What after that? We've done everything we can to prevent that from happening. But it hardly matters. We thought the Etherburner's design was flawless too, and look how that turned out. Thou art familiar with these most daunting technologies, and dost thou hold the power to allay his fears? Oh, I'm not sure about that, but well... Maybe you could tell me if there are any aspects of the ship's design that you're especially worried about. Our ability to walk about and perform tasks, for one. I've devised a means by which to employ gravity, a spatial-temporal spell, to regulate the environment. But what if it's not strong enough? What if everyone floats away and begins crashing into things as soon as we've left the star? Gravitation. Maybe I can be of help after all. Up there is not so different from down here, you see. The same rules apply. If you consider them to be part of one great big cosmos rather than separate places. I suspect both parties shall find comfort in this conversation. Yet if Fankred's what if Fankred's tale be true? Still others would benefit from insights born of experience. Why did prevail upon the loprets to attend them? An excellent idea, if I do say so myself. There's naught we'd like more than to ease the heart of the fine people of Ephyris, and learn more about them while we're at it. Full glad am I to hear it. Gather thy companions and bring them hither. Knezi, thou hast a gift for finding souls in need of succor. Pray seek thee out the distressed and the apprehensive, and inform them that help is at hand. I shall await them here, and I might introduce each to a suitable loperet. Oh, I do so look forward to that. A place for every loperet and every loperet in their place. Yes, precisely. However, it would also be prudent to have a redundant system in the event of failure. Thank heavens I asked you. The final days doubtless weigh heavy upon the minds of many in Charlian Hamlet. Pillars of the Exodus as they are. Pray, bring them hither. Shonorano is not one. There, a distracted researcher. 56 bunches of weeds in the ground, 56 bunches of weeds. Rip one out, answer them bound, 55 bunches of weeds in the... I'm not neglecting my duties, I swear. I was in need of a little break, you see, and then I found myself unable to relax at all, so I went on a walk and noticed these weeds and, pleasant conversation partners and oh so fuzzy. Thank goodness me, that does sound like a much better way to relax. There we go. Hyperventilating engineer. By the gods, my chest is tight. Am I dying? That's what dying feels like. Are you alright, good sir? Oh, pardon me. I didn't see there. There's no cause for concern, I assure you. No cause for concern. Even though we may need to depart at any moment, and if the hull I designed buckles under strain, the entire vessel may explode on launch, claiming countless lives, and bring all mankind. As island ugly. My visitors can help me triple check for structural flaws, you say? Why, that would be wonderful. I'm breathing more easily already. Acting. Let's talk to this capricious researcher. The end of the world's nigh, yet the work goes on. Hope goes no faster. Schedules are such temperamental things. Feasible one moment, utter bollocks the next. And yet I've never felt so alive. This one's beyond your help. Only sleep can save her now. Get some sleep. Irascible administrator. Hey, he's bald. I'm gonna use the robotic voice. You, yes, you. You idiot. Have you seen an envelope lying around? This imbecile refuses to give me the alchemic I ordered without that bloody slip of parchment. Unless your friends have a spell to make me remember where I dropped my damned envelope, I doubt they'll be more help than you. You've wasted enough of my time already. It would be important for all involved to inflict this man upon the Loperates. Oh, I love the line. Huh? My face, what's wrong with... Oh, perhaps I'm a bit tense. I was asked with ensuring that the proper fauna, and only the proper fauna, are brought with us to the moon. However, the suitability of a few species is still under debate, and I can hardly make the decision myself when I know so little about the environment up there. Including the Loperates in our discussions was a wonderful idea. I absolutely will, thank you. Perhaps their biology itself might offer some clue as well. What's on your mind? Consult our collaborators? I suppose it would be more effective than sitting here brooding. I'm attempting to calculate how much cargo we can consolidate into fewer trips. Should the ether burner make our original estimates unfeasible? There are simply too many variables. I feel as if my brow will turn inside out. But perhaps our lunar associates will have more insight into how much weight constitutes too much weight for our purposes. Thank you for letting me know. So you named it. Yes, I remember you. You're with the students of Baldessian, are you not? How can I help you? Oh, this is the info NPC. Now you cannot squeeze through there. There's a Mikote. With the R tribe. Oh, look, there's a Porogo. And ads. Speaking of which, I should actually check for the... I want to check something real quick because I don't know. Check for updates. Nothing there. We're in ads right now, so ads, upcoming warning, and YouTube user, no. I mean, I need to check something, and I'm gonna check something. Okay, that isn't the one I wanted to go for. I wanted to go for the server, not the bot. Break. I cannot force ads on YouTube, so... Okay, the ads are almost going to an end, and well, it's a shame. YouTube doesn't seem to have... I don't think YouTube gives you API access to activate that break scene. The take a break button. Because if I did, I would actually have them running in sync. I would have had the ads trigger in sync for both. There we go. 3, 2, 1, and talk to the administrator. How might I help you? Actually, I was wondering if you needed any help. Oh, what a lovely idea. I noticed 2 people becoming rather tense. So I rushed out to pluck some fresh and fragrant tea leaves. Now I need only track down 100 or so cups. But don't you worry, I can manage. I hope your plan to cheer everyone up goes well. This woman is doing better than you are! Okay, I went a bit intense on that line there. This woman is doing better than you are! I wouldn't mind a spot of tea either. I don't think the wall wouldn't mind us. I don't think the wall would mind tea. Blasted assistants, where have they gone off to at a time like this? Beg pardon, but I have not the time for idle chit-chat. I need to reconfirm that ether levels are consistent throughout the vessel's machinery, and it seems I shall have to do so single-handedly. I swear when I find those assistants of mine, maybe you could ask for help from the Loperates. The Loperates are willing to help. Why didn't you say so? At least I won't moan about how they checked 24 times already and haven't slept in weeks. Lazy sods. An anxious engineer. I mean, situations like this might be causing some anxiety. What am I thinking about? The medical facilities on the ship, of course. I designed it with the assistance of our sages and chirurgeons, but to imagine every illness or injury that one might face in the great expanse is beyond any of us. To say nothing of the effects that living out there inevitably might have on the body. The crew from the moon? Why did I not think of that? There. Yep, I knew it. The moment I see an NPC deep in thought during this quest, I know, yep. Hey! I'm a Kote. I like his hair. Have you heard anything of what's on the moon? I have no doubt that we can make it up there, but the searching for a new star part of the plan sounds awfully vague to me. I asked the forum, but they only tell us that our collaborators have everything under control. Forgive me, but I don't feel particularly safe wandering through the sea of stars with gods know what made by gods know who. Actually, a few Loperates have gone down to Epheris and are here to help. You mean to say that I can speak with them directly? Amazing! I hope they like questions. And there's a calm researcher. You call these documents research? They're not even worth wiping the privy floor with. Worries. No, I believe I'm fine, thank you. I think confining my colleagues in helps a lot. Can't recommend it enough. This researcher already has the support she needs. And where is that last researcher, pray tell, then? There is steady current. Our Rugadin friend. There's our what's-it. Full sun. Master Fortuno is the head of Aporia, and it is for his beliefs that I continue to labor so. Is anything bothering me? Well, I've been loading cargo for bells now, so my back feels like a void since played it as a piano. My feet and knees are as drums and cymbals too. The Gleaner seems fine if in need of a break. A despondent engineer. Just leave me to my misery. The forum can appoint someone else. I apologize, I simply don't know what to do. How am I supposed to pilot the Ark if I'm already falling apart under the pressure? Pull yourself together, man. The Loperates are here. You know a starship pilot that I might speak with, truly. Well then, there's no time to waste. They can help me prepare for this monumental task. Look, I would have chosen violence if I could. Oh, look, there's Growing Way. He said he was glad we spoke. That he thanked me. It was all worth it after all, wasn't it? Even the mistakes we made. Because now, we can tell them what not to do. Must you and I? Well, but... Oh, privacy, please. To me, growing way has been a godsend. I can look up on what we've built with clarity now. Urianger, behold, Kinesi. Through thine efforts, word hath spread throughout Labyrinthos. Verily to a far greater number than we anticipated. Living Way doth gather more Loporrits as we speak. I shall assign each in accordance with their skills, that new bonds of friendship might be forged. Should greater matters require not thine attentions, watch over them, I prithee. I need a blue. I need one more blue quest and then I'm... Look at all that dialogue going on that we cannot hear. What is it, Living Way?
Phew! Oh, finally some rest. Why, I haven't spoken so much in, well, in forever.
Must feel nice, doesn't it, Living Way?
Lively, isn't it? The town is abuzz. Everyone eager to meet with our friends from the moon.
Twould behoove you to consult with Sleeping Way. As our moon's pilot, his advice should be most pertinent.
I'm impressed. Truth be told, I struggle to tell one from another. No offense intended, of course.
None taken. After you and your friends left Mare Elementorum, we spent no small amount of time with your Urianger. Oh, the conversations we had. He told us all about Atheris, answered our every question, no matter how trifling or trivial. Look! Every page filled to the margins with knowledge. When I first arrived, I was struck by how little I knew. It was daunting. But then I realized that, were it not for Urianger and his teachings, we'd still be stuck on the moon, gazing at your world and wondering what we've been missing.
What would they think if they could see Urianger now? I dare say they'd be more than a bit surprised. And impressed, no doubt. Master Louisoix, Minfilia, Papalimo, and not to forget...
Oh, there. Heard there was a visiting expert who we might bother with a few questions. I take it you'd be the one.
Yes, I am.
Uh-oh. What's wrong, Thancred?
Wilson and Blovida, Sharlayan's foremost researchers in the field of teleportation magic, and Moonbreeder's parents.
Uh-oh.
It hath been some time. Tis good to see you in good health.
Oh, this is getting
Likewise, old
awkward.
friend. Blovida and I were most honored to answer the call. Never expected this reunion, though, did we, dear?
Oh. Uh-oh.
Arfe, the nerve.
Sending that letter.
Then running off to the gods know where.
Uh-oh, a proper bollocking. And this I did not
You
expect.
have any idea how worried we were?
I'm sorry.
It was,
'Twas
it was
remiss of me
What?
not to deliver the news in person. No, more than that. 'Twas I who...
Oh.
Our daughter was disillusioned after Master Louisoix left her behind. The day the Scions called upon her was the happiest I'd seen her in years. She made her every choice of her own free will. No one could have ever forced her to do otherwise. Don't blame yourself for her death. Celebrate her life. You know that's what she'd want.
She took her
If there
mother's
is one
hairstyle.
thing we resent you for, it was that we could not be there to mourn her with you. Reading the words you penned in that shaky hand,
And
we must have cried as much for you as we did for her.
oh.
I'm sorry. I truly, truly am. I knew not what to say. Knew not how to express my feelings.
Rita.
The poems and platitudes of wiser men, musings on sadness and loss, studied and memorized, and meaningless in the moment.
Silly boy. We are all powerless before such grief. Even now, try as I might, the words escape me. But in our hearts, we know, we always know.
Aye. Aye.
I remember when you were young.
Hmm.
How the
Lads
lads teased you for choosing the company of books over others. Our moon didn't take kindly to that. Be nice to Urianger, she'd shout, and give them a walloping,
No matter how.
no matter how many times we scolded her.
So we offered a suggestion. Rather than starting fights, why don't you be the bridge between Urianger and the others? She had to mull it over for a while, arms crossed, brow furrowed in intense thought. But from that day on, she never let you be alone. She'd drag you outside to play, pepper you with endless questions, read the same books you read, all to try and understand you that much better. I'm sure it was annoying and exhausting at the time, but she only ever had the best of intentions.
We're getting backstory.
Look at you now, at the
Center of the crowd.
The reason there even is a crowd, having brought these people together.
And these
You've
Loprits.
no idea how proud we are.
Oh, they were like.
To see the boy, our daughter, trusted and believed in more than anyone, grow into the man she always knew he could be. I can see her in you too. Feel her. She walks with you wheresoever you go. So thank you, Urianger, for being who you are.
I think I can feel her too.
Oh. Such
The
profound.
truth of her life. Not sorrow, but hope and love.
There we go. Yeah, I have emotion toggles. I hardly use them, but eh.
She was important to him, wasn't she?
Yes, she was.
You could ask the man himself.
Oh, no. But watching this exchange reminds me how much I've yet to learn about your world. And its people.
You can live here your entire life and hardly learn a thing.
That's a good point there, Fankred.
And that's why it's too soon for this to end.
Oh. Spain, Belgium is currently 1-1 still. Remind me to invite Urianger for a drink when we have a moment to breathe. We're long overdue for one. We can raise a glass to Moonbreeder. Goodness me, I've never felt like there was too little time before. There are so many people to talk to, so many things to learn. Oh, I skipped the line. We spent so long gazing at this star, wondering and hoping, but to be here now, to walk among the people, and to be a part of their lives and know that we've made a difference. So much more than I'd ever dreamed. I assure you that my fellow Loprets are equally excited to have this opportunity. They were humming the whole way here. I was so busy asking questions about the Fierce that I never thought to ask more about Urianger. But I'd like to. But where would I begin? Loida? You must be one of the Scions, correct? Yes, I am. Thank you for caring for my daughter. The time she spent with you was all too short, but I know she was proud to have you as comrades. Urianger is too, I'm sure. And I can certainly feel better for knowing he has good friends to look after him. See that he comes home from time to time, will you? The classical Rugidan language isn't so much different from Eotian. Did you ever wonder why we named our daughter Moon's Bride? When first I held her, the moon was shining silver and full. The whole world seemed aglow. I knew it had chosen her. That she would be a beacon of that self-same light. Of course, we'd later hear our fair share of jokes how we ought to have gone for sun instead. With how bright and stubborn she was. But fiery as my Moonbreeder was, she was always kind and gentle. Oh, Kanazi, be assured that I am fine. I am. Full glad to see them too after so long. Gladder still that it was in your company. As difficult as it was to accept their kindness, 'twould have been far harder had I faced them alone. Hitter and yarns! The pall of anxiety of Ashalian Hamlet is thinned to a more manageable levels. But first, let's get the gear out of there. Archaean and Chondrite Solrats Scouting. Speaking of which, my armory chest is full again. Drop that out, drop that in, and activate. Yes. Why is it such long? Okay, that looks good. That looks amazing. Check it. And portrait mode. Look. Looks good on him. This isn't yet the artifact armor, but Hitter and Yawns. The pall of anxiety of Ashalian Hamlet has dimmed to more manageable levels. Ahem. Thou hast my gratitude for lending courage to the Loporrits. Not disposed on to rest on their laurels, several of our guests have elected to accompany my countrymen to their stations. Some few may still come hither in seeking counsel, and so shall I remain to aid them as need be. If thou art needed elsewhere, do not let me detain thee. As a matter of fact, I was hoping you might check on Alize. Last I saw, she was struggling to carry an enormous pile of boxes out the west gate. I could go myself, but we both know whose help she's less like to scorn. Not to mention that, much to my misfortune, I can think of several other things I ought to be doing. Until later. Oh, there's blue. For Labyrinthos. Yep, those are the two remaining blue quests, I think. Muscle Fret. The lad in Labyrinthos. Muscle Fret is awfully worried about something. And that's a goal for Spain. Womp womp. I just saw one of those kids do. I saw one of them do womp womp. A Vieira Gleaner. Tell me, what is the farthest you've ventured? Another world? That's meant to be in jest. The look on your face tells me you're serious. Aye, you should do nicely. Pauline? What? Who are you? Ah! 4, 5, 6. Da 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 da. Obviously, I'm going to take as many of these I'm gonna tank off the blue quests before I get around to it. Here comes the sun. Da 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 dun. Oh, he wants to know more about the artificial sun. Oh, extra time, 7 minutes. Simply face the crystal and pray for the safety of the gleaner. Oh, safety for the traveler to be, if you will. Oh. Face the crystal and... Oh, wait. I just clipped into a crate. A colleague recently told me of the power of Akasha, a concept taught in Ranzadhan and how it reacts to strong emotion. I wonder if this method of praying to a crystal is a manifestation of that power. Well, that should about do it. With luck, your prayers will help guide the gleaner safely through the perils of his journey. May the navigator give... May the navigator speed you along on your journey, my friend. That's some fucking football right there. Do you have a lantern crystal for me? A crystal imbued with hope for a safe journey. May the navigator guide your... Keep the wind in your sails on your long journey, my friend. You have my thanks. With your prayer fueling its light, I have faith that it will keep me safe until my return. And now I depart for Girabania. I hope your travels are successful as well as mine. Just FYI, I have the match right over top of the chat window. Header and yawns. Logisticon Beta. And there's Alize. Crazy, what are you doing out here? I heard you needed help. Now, I don't mind if you help with the boxes, but it's far from the most exciting of tasks. Are you sure? Are you sure? Well, I appreciate the assistance. We need to get these to Aporia. Time is short, of course, but they're full of organic specimens and samples. So try not to be too rough with them. Alphino should be waiting for us when we arrive. I'll see you there. Oh, one of those is a living sample in it. 3 minutes. Come on, this is hardly even. This is hardly even the. This is hardly a difficult process. There is Alfino. Oh, you're helping with the crates. Wonderful. You can put that there with the others. Oh, someone meant the atomium. You have my gratitude, but I skipped a line. But how did you come to be involved in this? Then I suppose I have Fankrit to thank as well. If you're wondering why we were tasked to bring these books to Poria to begin with, so was I. It turns out this is a base of operations of sorts. Those with final say as to what's included in the ship's manifest can be found here. Father included, I suspect. That should be everything. That should be everything. You carried all of that at once. Are you trying to injure yourself? Oh, hush, they're lighter than they look. Not everyone has your delicate arms. I suppose we should let someone know that we finished. Teopold is in the courtyard. We can report to him. Why don't you come along? You should get credit for your assistance at least, considering where we are. We might even learn something interesting. And that's time. Alice? This must be Teopold then. I keep thinking that I've seen him elsewhere, but I can't for the life of me remember when. God, it never ends, does it? What can I do for you? We brought the samples from Charlie and Hamlet. The series 110? The crates are by the entrance. Thank you. I'd expected one of my colleagues, but we're dreadfully short-handed. Don't. You are Fortuno's children, are you not? Alfino and Alice, at your service. You're well acquainted with Father, I take it. Quite. I've been friends with your parents since our days at the studium. I remember when you were yay high, waddling hither and thither. Clearly, it's been quite some time since we've met. 'Tis good to see you again. Wielding your father's nullus, no less. You knew our parents when we were young. What were they like? Pray, spare no detail. I should like nothing more than to regale you, but alas, I am meant to be in charge here, and reams of paperwork want for submission. We can help you with that, in exchange for the sort of storage our parents would never willingly divulge, of course. Very well, then. There happen to be 3 sets of documents in need of delivery. How about you each take one? And I take one as well then. Wait right there. Wait right there. And me? You'll find a forum representative waiting to collect these near the southernmost structure. I hope I haven't kept her waiting too long. Never mind Alfino and Alize. I'm certain they'll be back soon enough. The southernmost structure. Something we can do to further fortify our walls. No, at least not without new materials, there isn't. Southernmost structure, that's this one. You're not one of the scions of the Are you not one of the scions of the Seventh Dawn? I thought you were meant to be working on the ether burner. Yeah, we're waiting for resources. Here's a document. Theopolden's paperwork. I was beginning to worry he had misplaced his quill. I appreciate your help in seeing these documents to my hands at last. As for your other task, break even between us, but I sincerely hope you scions succeed. The Exodus is without a doubt the most monumental undertaking in the history of the Forum, and so we must be circumspect in all aspects. Risk is a privilege we cannot afford ourselves. At its heart, however, Charlian has ever been a nation of the curious. It would be a tragedy if we were the ones to stymie your pursuit of truth. Hither in Jan's quest is about to be completed. We run Hither in Jan's. Quick and efficient. I dare say you have talent for this work. The twins' papers should be only need to be delivered elsewhere in the facility, so they should be returning any moment. We return another scrap of paperwork remaining on our persons, you will note. You both have my thanks, and my apologies for sending you on an errand far below your ambitions. Why, even as a babe, you struggled out of your swaddling clothes, and... That's quite enough of that, thank you. It was compromising stories of our parents that we'd asked to hear, not to... We'd asked to hear and to reiterate. Of course. I've known your father for so long, I must have something. Well, as you know, part of why the Levier name garners so much respect in Charlian is your family's storied history. You two could trace your ancestry directly to those who came aboard Neuenkrebs' Hope, a lineage few can claim. I've never thought so much of it myself. It's not as though our forebears founded our nation. They were simply there when it happened. Nevertheless, it has traditionally been a point of pride. That's why Neuenkrebs' pronouncement, renounce the ways of war and pursue enlightenment through knowledge and reason, has ever been our family's creed. Till your grandfather's time, Archon Louisoix looked not to Neuenkrebs' words, but his deeds. He asserted, in defiance of his peers, that choosing to save the great and the small from the rising tides was a true mark of our founder's virtue. Perhaps it was his expertise, his knowledge of ancient prophecy and the fall of civilizations, that led him to conclude that to eschew conflict at every turn was to consign mankind to his doom. There will ever be conflict and calamity will follow, thus, to ignore the plight of those who one might conceivably say is not wisdom. It is indolence. You remember his words well, indeed. Archon Louisoix lived by that personal creed, and has used every means at his disposal to bring succor to those in need, Charlian or no. No one loved and admired your grandfather more than his son. Yet Fortuno could not reconcile Louisoix's deeds with the philosophy of their forebears and his peers. A philosophy in which he believed so fervently, yet made a pariah of his father. Fortuno agonized over this contradiction for much of his life. God, father! A son may carry his father's blood, but his choices are his own to bear, is it not always thus? God, no, Fortuno's a cranky old goat, so I'm sure you butt heads often enough. Yet even so, you must know that you are not constantly in his thoughts. You must know you are constantly in his thoughts, every moment of every day, and that's not an exaggeration in the slightest. You should have seen him when you were born. Barely recognizable he was, of a kind of dumbfounded grin I had not seen since he first took a fancy to your mother. He was practically skipping when he told me the news. Take my word for it, he loves you to an embarrassing degree. But he is also frustratingly single-minded. Once he's decided that a given action is for the best, he will stay the course no matter what or no matter who or what opposes him. A profoundly annoying habit when you're on the other end of it, as I am sure you will agree. I'll say. Thank you for your insight. When next we meet our parents, I shall mention that we spoke. Try not to get me into too much trouble now. I need the forum on my side. Speaking of which, I ought to be getting back to work. I have to make sure those specimens you brought make it to their proper places, or the cranky old goat will have my hide. We can speak again later. Well, hail you free. It's Graha! Graha, surely Coco hasn't driven you out in the forge already. For better or for worse, no. However, he has set me a task that requires more than a single pair of hands, and here you are. I could at least use at least one of you, but I won't object to more. Unfortunately, Alize and I have prior commitments, and we have delayed too long as it is. What about you, Knazy? Can you spare the time? Of course I can. Perfect. This shouldn't take long. As much as I'd like to press Theopoldin for more revealing tidbits, we should be getting back to our tasks. It's strange to hear Father spoken of in such a way, but I suppose he would find your view of me no less odd. Once forged, an unspecified task awaits you. In the event that our, and I quote, promised heap of adamantite falls right out of the bloody sky and into my lap, Master Coco wishes to be ready to put the proverbial hammer to the anvil at a moment's notice. To fabricate these parts, however, he needs the flames in Coco's forge to burn hotter. He has sent me to increase the amount of ether being funneled into his furnaces. The flow of fire-aspected ether in Labyrinthos is regulated by an elemental reactor south of here, to which I have borrowed the key. The adjustment will require 2 people to carry out safely, but I can explain the process when we arrive. This is where we part then. We'll see you in Charlie and Hamlet once the adamantite arrives, if not before. This way then. for us. There's Raha. The reactor is housed within this facility. I'll be the one to go inside and adjust the fire ether output. When I do, a rather large amount of water expected ether will issue from the vent at the top. I expect this will attract at least a few elementals, which we would both rather not be drawn into the reactor itself. Trust me. Can I ask that you put down any that draw too near? They'll pose you a little trouble, I'm sure. Wait here if you would. Uh-oh. Boom. Now to survey it again. Did everything go smoothly out here? Yes, of course. I thought as much. No major complications to speak of inside either. And the water ether appears to be venting properly. I expect Kokol will have seen a difference in his forged flames by the time I return. Since I have you, there was another matter I thought to discuss with you. Nothing terribly important, merely something I've been considering. Part of this I shared with everyone, yet you and only you have been to Elpis. As we have established, refined adamantite is a product of Alag, of the Empire's twilight years, in fact. It's a material which saw much use as part of the Alagon's efforts to extend beyond the bounds of this world, Dalamud, of course, being the most prominent. Of those who would push further, expand Alag's empire to encompass the heavens and the stars above. Perhaps the greatest was its infamous technologist, Amon. Did he remember his life as Hermes? I believe he had his own reasons. There is no evidence to suggest that he retained memories of his former life. He only joined the Ascians once the Empire was all but dust, as you know. If not his memory, though, what drove him to pursue the idea with such fervor? This may seem far-fetched, but what if souls like minds have a personality, so to speak? A natural disposition towards which they are inclined? We now know with relative certainty that it was the gross decadence and inexorable decline of Alag that moved Amon to resurrect Emperor Zand. And the Empire's people spoke lightly of death and destruction, experimenting on those they deemed beneath them to fill the emptiness in their hearts. In facilitating Zand's return, Amon provided these languid souls with the means to free themselves from the mire of their own indolence. Or would have, had not Zand been convinced by his own death that life itself was meaningless. Amon's desire for his countrymen to conquer the heavens could only be a means to the same end. To instill the people with new purpose. Like Hermes before him, Amon was appalled by how those around him lived. Could never bring himself to believe that those lives were devoid of meaning. And both of them sought that meaning, that hope, in the distant stars. Such is my theory, anyway. Ultimately, it is the consequences of their actions which matter. Their motives are of no moment, and yet... to reach beyond those stars on wings of adamantite. To travel to the ends of creation and beyond. The promise of hope everlasting. That much I do understand. But enough musing for now. I want to see how he's getting on. I'm gonna be running ads before wrapping up before ending this specific quest. So I'll see you in a moment. Logistikon Gamma. A song of hope that dances on the higher. A well-moisturized researcher. I love how some fates have funny names. They moisturize. Fuamaka Kodankol Usontitin Skenres Oh. There we go. I wonder, can I... What do the dyes look like on this gear, on this outfit? Oh. That does not look half bad. But first, let me just... And that armory chest is also full. I know. This one can be moved. Ready? Phew! I can feel those flames are blazing from here! Glad you found someone capable, Graha. But there's not much left for you lot to do. Unless you can conjure up that refined adamantite any faster. Bones of adamantite. Look, cold on callers as usual, worked up over the afterburner. I do trust you to deliver on your promise, I do, only... I hate waiting! I wanted adamantite and I want it now! We, share your impatience. I assure you. Is there truly nothing we can assist with in the meantime? I wish. Sitting about is unbearable. Pity the forum frowns on recreational explosions. Well, so long as they can't prove it was premeditated. Get your garden of mistakes to make. In that case, I suppose I should go and return the key to the reactor. I'll have one more look to make sure that nothing has gone wrong, unintentionally or otherwise. I am certain there are better uses for your time, however. I will join you when Charlie and Hamlet are not. Okay, I have some areas to clear. To the hamlet. If you wait here, your companions are bound to turn up sooner or later.
All set, I take it?
We finished what we could. Delivered supplies, tracked down escaped animals. Trivial tasks as they may be.
One moment to reset my tracking. There we go.
That's enough, don't you think? If there was anything more important still undone, that would be a problem in itself.
The vessel is essentially ready for departure. All that remains is to load the final batch of supplies and see everyone on board. Once we've readied the ether burner, that is.
Ah, had a feeling we might find you all here.
Our consultations with the Loperates, too, have run their course. Pleased I am to say that our researchers' concerns have, for the most part, been allayed, though some insist on making adjustments
To the very end.
For their part, Livingway and her peers have graciously offered to stay and keep the people company, lest any lingering queries go unanswered.
All that remains is to wait for the refined adamantite.
Alphino, are you there? It's me, Kryl. Your special delivery has arrived. Round up everyone and come to the harbor at once.
There we have it.
Speak of the devil. Let us go at once.
Forgive the intrusion, Master Fortuner. I bring urgent news. A great commotion has broken out in Scholar's Harbor. Your presence is requested with all speed.
Uh-oh. Fortuno may be worried.
Now, where might this delivery be? Oh.
Look at that absolute mass of... Yo, airship.
I'm sure it's very important, but we cannot accept these without the proper permits.
By the 12! Surely, these can't all be.
Of course, there is... Hey, mana cutters!
Bleeding hellfire! They're bringing them by sea and by air.
All these folks and these crates.
And more on the way. Got your adamantite right here. A bigger haul than any of these sorry bastards brought, and that's no lie.
Yes, because you were charged with seeing the shipments from Gridania and Uldar here, along with your own. Give credit where credit is due.
And good point, Emmanuel.
Sounds like the sorry whinging of a sore loser. An hypocrite to boot. Ain't
No way a scrawny whelp like you took a dozen steps inside a Dalamud shard. No.
I'll have you know I went all the way to the entrance. I played a vital role in keeping a lookout whilst our expeditionary forces secured the adamantite.
Left you outside so you wouldn't get anyone killed, did they? Well then, credit where credit's due. You did a right
fine job sitting on your ass.
Take that back.
Make me.
I will not stoop to your level.
My, what a grand welcome party.
Hancock! Saraban!
Hancock and Saraban. We come bearing relics both sacred and Allegan, as well as a few other gifts that may be of help, to be presented with best wishes from the Eastern Alliance.
I myself have come with a sacred relic of the Kojin. Upon learning of your need, Bunchin bade me deliver it on behalf of the Blue with all haste.
Bunchin.
Fearing I could not swim here with the necessary speed, however, I thought to beg our Confederate allies for aid. To my delight, Hancock was already preparing for departure at the self-same port, and had space for additional cargo.
We did, of course, need quite the impressive vessel to get it all here in time.
That is all wonderful to hear, but what of the extraordinary cost? I shudder to think of the ransom we must pay for such a bounty.
Fret not for your coin purse, young Alphino. Lord Lolorito looks ever towards the profits of the future. And thus, the East Aldenar Trading Company went to some lengths to reduce the financial liability. And since the Scions funded the entire venture, not a gill need be rendered up in compensation. Everything is already yours.
Wait, what?
We funded the venture? When?
Don't let the name fool you. This coin keeper knows a thing or two about spending.
Of course, Tutter.
When it comes to capital investiture, a sprinkling of gil here and there will not do. You need enough savings to make waves when it really counts, which is why frugality is paramount.
The end of the world is bad for business.
We also had the benefit of a generous patron. Generous being rather an understatement. She has supported us from the shadows since the very founding of the Scions. We even had coffers to fill.
Ah.
Millions.
I remain, of course, an entirely neutral party. I simply thought our family's coffers were needlessly full. We can hardly take them with us on your teeny-tiny toy boat, now can we? And would be a shame to leave all that hard-earned wealth unspent. Waste not.
Ah, that was the password between those two.
However did you manage so much in so short a time, though? We expected word to reach only a fraction of our allies.
Did I not tell you I have my ways?
Of course, Kryl and Aaronville.
You were involved too.
I received a letter from Kryl after we parted ways in Labyrinthos. She explained what the Scions were trying to accomplish, and why you might soon require the services of the Gleaners, spread across the world as we are. I pray you do not interpret this as a betrayal of Charlotte. I accept that the Forum's aim in pushing us to our limits was to preserve what knowledge we had, and I bear you no ill will for it. Yet, in collecting that knowledge, what I came to appreciate most about our star is that there remains so much we do not know. That is why I chose to help the Scions, to combat the obliteration of those countless undiscovered wonders. I held no illusions that they would be less demanding taskmasters. Though, rest assured, if I had, I would have been sorely disappointed. To make a long story short, the whole of the guild ship cooperated to ensure your call was heard far and wide.
Ah. Hey!
What's this about a ship that can fly to the moon? And why didn't you mention it sooner?
The ironworks.
Time you don't beg my
Run.
aid. Your problem's a bloody ship that can fly to the moon. See it.
You brought the team.
Of course. Garland Ironworks' finest. You need only point us towards my new...
Look, Alpha and Omega are also here.
As you like us not suspect, we've also brought adamantite for Mordona's Dalamud shard.
Oh, this is lovely to see.
I have been to some consternation upon first receiving Kryl's message. So few Scions remain at the Rising Stones now. Far too few for such an expedition. However, the Gleaners were able to secure us reinforcements. Idleshire's treasure hunters, not least among them.
Fascinating as all this is, I fail to see how it explains your presence here.
Hey, Varshan.
Does Razat not have more pressing concerns?
We do. Yet averting the final days would be the most expedient solution.
Rayons once
and I am
forged.
indebted to you. Though they chose to take their leave of Thavnair, those you saved in Galimund remain my people. My gratitude is beyond words. 'Tis appropriate that I aid you in kind. If in the doing we bring salvation to others of this star, so much the better.
Turns out the only reason
You
Alpha and
will
Omega are
recall
here.
that I spoke of my father, Midgard Summer, and his journey across the great expanse.
Look, there's dialogue we're missing because I didn't finish Solar's World or did the Alexander raids, but because I did the Omega raids, Alpha and Omega are present in the scene.
As he traveled betwixt the stars, his resplendent scales drank of the ether in those nigh empty surrounds, and imparted to him the strength to persevere. Thinking they might further your cause, I called out to my kin for consent. Ajdaya's answer was silence.
As ever.
Tiamat and Chrisvelgre, however, responded favorably to the suggestion. My sire, too, stirred from his slumber long enough to speak and say,
very well.
Thus have I brought you his own worm scales. Fit them to your purpose, and seek a worthier fate for us all.
You'd be hard-pressed to find someone else so familiar with the unique properties of dragon scales. So I invited myself along.
Thank you, Nidana.
Bugger me, this is so unbelievable. I've gone right back round to believing it again. Forget a 6% gain in efficiency. With all these goodies, we could get 7, no?
10? No. 14%.
Think of how far we could go. What we could do with that much power. What we could blow up.
If Kokol is duly convinced, then it must be true. In which case, the Scion's end of the bargain has been fulfilled. Would you not agree?
Uh-oh, Fortuno.
Yes, Father?
I know not what you seek of Hydaelyn, nor for what purpose you would take command of our ship. Yet this much is certain. To do so will be to dictate the fate of this star and the lives upon it. The lives of each and every creature, in their magnitude and their fragility. Do you understand? And are you prepared?
Ooh.
We have seen and we have felt how much each life shapes this world. And so we are determined to abandon none. We understand what is at stake, and we are prepared to bear this burden.
Then
Custom animation.
I will bear it with you. I beg you, share your struggles with me. As family.
He's finally stepping up to be a father again.
You grasped my fingers with such tiny hands the day you were born. I thought my heart might burst.
Oh,
it was love and happiness beyond expression. Overwhelming. And a conviction so powerful that I trembled with something close to rage. I had heard the final days foretold. I swore to myself then and there that I would not let them steal your futures. The great Exodus would succeed, must succeed. No sacrifice or sin was worse than the alternative. If anything gave me pause, 'twas mine own father.
Louis Soir.
The Archon Louis Soir openly decried Charlian's policies. a perspective which I regarded with increasing disdain as I grew older. Yet even as part of me thought him a fool, perhaps I also hoped that he, of all people, would devise a brilliant means to save my children. A naive hope, but stubborn enough that I could never bring myself to keep you apart. No, that was his doing, when he perished at Cartano. As we pulled that twisted slab of Dalamud from the sea, I remembered the warmth of your newborn touch. Chastened, I vowed never again to suffer any interference in my mission to protect you. No matter that you yourselves wished otherwise. Detest me, fight me tooth and nail. I would suffer it, and more, and be satisfied so long as I could force you onto the ship. I was wrong. You two have grown so much stronger and so much wiser than I dared dream. You have earned the right to walk your own path, and already begun to do so.
Good. Because there are things we care about, and people we love, and none of them is replaceable. Not a one.
It cannot have been an easy journey for you to have come so far.
We shall be glad to acquaint you with the finer details someday, once this danger has passed. All that we have seen and heard, that we have felt and learned in our travels. Ours is not a kind world, but it is beautiful. Always.
Oh no. Are you quite sure that's wise? After all, someone turns pale and flees the room when he sees so much as an envelope containing word of your adventures. Whatever will happen if he learns what you were really up to?
Millions.
Millions.
Though I have wronged my children most gravely, I owe you an apology as well. I assumed that it was the Scion's influence that made them so keen to charge headlong into danger. Yours, in particular.
Well, Fortuno?
I see now that said influence instead brought them together with the many fine people gathered here today. In which case, I hope you continue to guide them.
If we finish loitering about the harbor, might I suggest we put our plans into motion? People are beginning to look confused.
Perhaps you can spare a few words ere they resume the tedious lugging of cargo. You've no small number of friends and admirers here after all.
The Maker's Ruin! This is a Warrior of Light moment. Lend us your strength.
Your assistance is appreciated. Now, in an orderly fashion, if you please.
Mr. Fortuno, would you be so kind as to help? Unaided, we scions could never have gathered such a bounty. Refined adamantite, relics sacred and ancient alike. I find myself quite overcome. The time has come to claim our prize. Are you prepared? Lee sent a letter along with Gridania's contribution. It seems she traveled there to aid in their adamantite recovery. Evidently, journeying to Gridania was quite the trial, as was getting into the Dalamud shard, as was reaching its depths. I suspect she will have a few kind words to say about the Allagons when next we meet. If I never see another crate again, it'll be too soon. I cannot wait to see what her friends from the Ironworks do with the ship. I had no idea how massive a weight it was until he lifted it off my shoulders. But more importantly, his words were an affirmation that the path we walk is the right one. A part of me might have been satisfied, so long as my family and friends survive the final days. But to save this star is what we all want most. And if those same people believe that I can help see it done, who am I to say otherwise? Come what may, I will not fight for this. I will fight for this world until the very end. Is there dialogue here? Whoop. My throat hurts from directing so many people to labyrinthos. But it only proves we got our money's worth. I apologize for not informing you earlier of Erenville's involvement. It was something of a contingency plan. Thank goodness we had him and his fellow gleaners to hand, though. It would have been monstrously difficult to locate Sid and transport the Harnish delegation here otherwise. We finally managed to clear the harbor, which means the rest is in the engineers' capable hands. Meanwhile, Father has issued to us an invitation. As was agreed, he will reveal to us the means by which Heidelin may be contacted. We are to meet him at Aporia when we're ready. Given the vital knowledge she holds, I suggest we leave without delay. It transpires, however, that the Forum's method for speaking with her is not without risks. I'm curious to hear what those might entail, but regardless, be warned. Most of those who have arrived with the Adamantite have offered to stay and see to any remaining tasks that need doing. The Forum has already asked for my assistance in overseeing the process, so you needn't worry about a thing. Thank you, Tataru. We're off to Aporia then. Even Kryle joins them. To Aporia. Is it a voiced cutscene? Fortuno? Kanezi, I've already shown the others inside. You will want to speak with Clarilane. She has the key to the lift and can send you down after me. Why can't we do that? When could we... Oh well. Oh, I can actually fly from this point onwards. Clarilane? You have Master Fortuno, yes? Just step inside the lift here. From here, we proceed to the heart of Labyrinthos, and its most closely guarded secret, Pharmazine. And it marks the beginning and end of our efforts. Whence we delve to seek audience with the star, and whence we will embark on our journey to the heavens. This way, if you please. Proceed to the entrance of Pharmazine. Hey! Finally, that entire segment is filled in. She dances on the wind. I am This like, ooh, that's the ship. Whoa. False boss. False balls. I bid you welcome to Formozy. Direct your attention towards its center to behold the ark over which we have long labored. As you can see, it was designed as a medium-sized craft, the better to reduce fuel consumption. Miniaturizing magics have also been applied to its interior to ensure that the thrust-to-weight ratio does not place too great a limitation on its freight capacity. The ether burner, as you know, has been removed for further modification, but we shall reattach it soon enough. We've received word that Kokol and several of your allies are working on it with intense fervor. They're sure to see it done. 'Twas by their expertise that many a prior disaster was averted. If anything, I fear they will not afford us much time for speaking with Heidelin ere they finish. Point taken. Let us move on. I must warn you, however, that even with the benefit of our device, to treat with her is not a simple feat. Oh, dialogue time. You feel it too, don't you? The ship is impressive, but it pales in comparison to the vast primordial power beneath our feet. It would seem enchantments most advanced have been woven into the ship's very bones. Wilson and Bluida were doubtless called upon for their expertise in teleportation magics. It was the Allagons who first combined the mechanical and ethereal sciences into a revolutionary discipline. Given that this ship is nothing short of a technological marvel in that precise vein, elegant salvage should suit it well. And this is what Ervin meant when he said there remains much that we do not know. I still can't believe everything that was hidden underneath the city this entire time. Kryl? Meeting Heidelin proved difficult even for the foreign, then perhaps just an informed idea at this phase, I am afraid. I will duly inform you if anything comes of it. We must learn of Heidelin's greater plan. We can only hope that she also knows the current location of Meteion. And if we can do neither, if we do not focus on whatever trial awaits us within. I can well imagine the zeal with which they are working on the ether burner. I can say that I'm glad we have something to do other than get in their way. Once it's ready, we'll see to it that the ship is put to good use. To think how many generations labored for this end. And now we aim higher still. We must spare no preparation, and that means speaking of Heidelin, no matter the cost. I have done what I can to impress upon you the gravity of what lies ahead. Are you prepared? Freebird, Labyrinthos! Dang it. What does Didisa have to say? Final details in the parts for the ark we're constructing. Even the smallest error can lead to a huge catastrophe, so we cannot be too careful. Her children, one and all. Fortuno is ready to lead you to Heidelin at last. We make for the lift at the center of this chamber. Come. You know what I think this needs? What I need for this? Oh, there's lines. There's more. There's so much dialogue to be had. If there's anything worth worrying over, not for Heidelin. I doubt there's anything worth worrying over. Not for Heidelin's champion at any rate. As a means of communing with the heart of the star, it is disappointingly mechanical in design. They must employ a full cohort of engineers just to maintain the lifts. Am I the only one feeling terribly nervous? Surely not. I should hope that Master Fortuno has more to share air sending anyone stumbling into the ethereal sea. With the ship in the way, I didn't even notice this was here. This doesn't strike me as particularly dangerous unless one is afraid of lifts. Oh, the ether here is more brilliant than I've ever seen. Uh-oh. As you all know, alongside our physical world exists an ethereal plane. What we refer to as the ethereal sea. At the heart of the star, the physical and ethereal are one and the same. Thus, the deeper we go, the easier it becomes to pass between said planes. We utilize this principle in constructing the anti-tower and once more here in Pharmazine. No sooner did the Forum decide that an exodus from the star would be necessary than it began work on this facility. Our work culminated in a device that allowed us to peer deeper into the ethereal sea than ever before, in search of Heidelin's ever fainter echoes. The Itioscope. And you communicate with her through this device. For a time, yes, but since the 7th Umbral Calamity, it's rare to hear even a whisper. If you wish to reach her, you must journey closer to the center of the star than we have ever dared, beyond the Itioscope. Even so, I can make no guarantee that you will find her, nor for your safety, not so deep in the ethereal sea. We understand, but if we are to deliver this world, we have no choice but to try. I know, I only wish we could do more than observe your progress from afar. The Itioscope's ocular lens by which we may peer into the ethereal sea without placing ourselves at hazard lies above us. Through it, we can watch and guide you. In those swirling depths, there are pockets of ether so dense and turbulent that they can unravel one's soul. If we determine you are at risk of coming into contact with such a pocket, we will recall you with teleportation magics. To that end, it would be best if one familiar with the composition of your souls remained here to assist in assessing said risk. Otherwise, there is an increased probability that we will extract you too early, or too late. Y'shtola? Oh, Kryl. Please, allow me. I have thought upon this much, and in truth, I do not believe that I am fit to join you in the trials ahead. The events at the Tower of Babel drained me, yes, but even before that, your capabilities far outstripped my own. There's no time to have a weak link in our vanguard, no matter how much she may wish it were otherwise. If I assist in the manner that Master Fortuno has laid out, however, I may still be of use. Will you trust in me to do so? I can think of none I trust more. Compared to all that effort you put into keeping us alive while our souls were in the thirst, Preventing us from dissolving into ether on a single expedition ought to pose no challenge at all. And even if we did, I expect you would hunt us down and restore us to health somehow. You flatter me, but rest assured I will be keeping a close eye on all of you. There's one more thing. Those in ages past referred to the ethereal sea as the underworld, our final resting place. In its embrace is memory washed away, leaving only the purity of one's soul, or so we believe. Yet what of these memories? Few think to ask what becomes of them, cast adrift on ethereal tides. Some theorize that they linger for some time, those sort with strong sentiment in particular. In those depths, memories of the departed may even coalesce around you, for hatred or for love. Thus do I caution you to be wary, but also to have faith. Remember those who did gladly extend a hand to you. They may lift you up once more. Orchiphon, Moonbreeded, and the like. And I believe let me just ask. Let's see if any messages are gonna come through. And someone logged in. I'm past my regular time to wrap, but I feel like calling it here. But I'm waiting for anyone to respond in game. And if not, I'll wrap it. And I'm guessing that's a no. You good, Caleb? Level 90 sync. Look, it's steampunk. But it's already past my regular wrap-up time, so I'm gonna go ahead and log out and pick this up after the Splatfest. Good. And click, click, click. Now, let's see if we can raid out to someone. Because we are late. Let's see who is... Yeah. Let's go say hello to Celestial Feeling, who's doing... Oh, never mind, the feeling cannot be raided into. Af can't be raided into, so yeah. You know what, let's say hello to Homaida, who's currently doing Pal World, which released into its 1.0 release today. So yeah. Let's go say hello. And good night, everybody. See you at 1 o'clock my time for Splatoon. Bye-bye!